Hello, I'm Daniel Meadows, and I have done a multi-story project called High Street Stories. I came to know about multi-story because I had a exhibition, a retrospective exhibition of my work from the 1970s and 80s, which was touring the country and was being exhibited in Birmingham at the library, the new library, the Library of Birmingham. And Emma came to the opening. I had met her before, and she was very moved by the work, and she asked me if I would do a project with Multistory. And but since I'd last met Emma, I'd been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I'd been quite poorly, and I thought that my working days were over. Emma came to my house later in the year and persuaded me that my working days weren't over and that she would provide me with Laura as a researcher and all the help we would need to be able to come and work in the market here. The market that's struggling, rather, because there's a brand new Tesco shopping precinct opened a few hundred yards away, and the high street the shops are pretty much closed, and even the market is running at about a fifth to a quarter capacity. And she wanted me to document the lives of the people who operate in the market and who also use the market, both the indoor market and the outdoor market. Well, I think I do present as a little bit odd to most people in the market because I'm this rather tall figure with my rollator, which is my walking aid, my wheeled Zimmer frame, and so I had to kind of work out a way of working because my tradition is to be a photographer and to take pictures of people. But the last big thing that I worked on was a digital storytelling project in Wales called BBC Capture Wales. Which was a community project where we taught people how to use computers so they could make their own 2 minutes of television. And that was a project that won a BAFTA Cymru in 2002. So I hadn't worked as a conventional photographer for a very long time. And one of the things that I really have always loved and also have done in the background is that I've always recorded people. So I thought, if I'm going to do something about the high street, I don't want to do it as conventional photography. I want to be able to take pictures, but I also want to be able to have my audio recorder. So here I am, this sort of gangling person with this metal structured wheelchair thing, and my camera. And also, I should say that my eyesight isn't as it was, and plays tricks on me a bit. And so I tend not to look through the camera very much. So when I'm working, I'm sort of poking the recorder and talking to people like this around the camera while taking pictures. So I'm kind of, the camera's taking pictures now. I can't really, the modern world is so lovely that it's focusing it for me and it's exposing it, which is great. But I don't really know what I'm getting. And you can hear the click on the audio, obviously. So I've got audio in the left hand, the camera in the right. And I'm chatting to people, and of course this is causes a bit of chaotics. So the wonderful Laura kind of walks around behind and beside me, clearing up the mess with explaining to people what I'm trying to do, and getting model releases and so on. So it looks very, I don't know what it looks like, a bit odd, I suppose, but. And of course I've got my headphones on, so I'm only hearing people through the microphone. But actually what I'm doing is I'm just working in a very old tradition, which is why I brought these things along to talk about some of the traditions that I'm working in. See, I mean, I'm really, really interested in how people talk, and I'm interested in the spontaneous way in which people talk and respond and converse. And the first place that I can find a really good record of the way people talk, ordinary people, if you like, in other words, not celebrated or powerful people talk, is in Henry Mayhew's London Labour and London Poor, which was published, I think, in 1850 something. And he had a fantastic ability, Mayhew, for being able to remember. It's all, you can't believe when you read these that they aren't transcripts, these bits of conversation with all kinds of people out on the streets, many of them market traders. So, you know, here's Henry Mayhew giving me an example of how to work. And then, of course, when tape recorders did come in, there were some great pioneers, even here in the Midlands. This is Charles Parker, The Radio Ballads. This is a pamphlet from the Library of Birmingham where they have his... actually, the pamphlet is from the record company, but his work is in the Library of Birmingham, his archive is. And this is something that I learned as a small boy. This is Singing the Fishing, which was a piece of work he did with Ewan MacColl and Peggy Seeger. And so he was based here at the BBC in the Midlands, in Birmingham. And you know, as a boy, I heard this, and it was you know, it's oral history, but it's oral history set to music. It's storytelling using the vernacular, using what he would call actuality recordings. And I think that's all I'm doing, is making actuality recordings, but I'm putting pictures with them. And then, so where do the pictures come from? You know, there's another great Midlands inspiration for me. That I bought this book when I was a student. This is a book I bought in a second-hand bookshop. There was a red Sir Benjamin Stone's pictures book and a blue Benjamin Stone pictures book. And I don't know, I was a student. I bought it for £2.50 in a second-hand bookshop. And I didn't, you know, it was the time when £2.50 was quite a lot of money. And I didn't have the £5 to buy the two books, and now, you know, I wish I had. But anyway, but you know, he was photographing. You know, these are people who are putting themselves up to market. These are men who are advertising themselves at a fair in Stratford-on-Avon as carters. They have in their buttonholes they have a little bit of rope, which is their signal to say, I'm a carter, hire me. But if they'd had a bit of straw in there, it would have meant I was a different kind of farm labourer or whatever. So, you know, there are people who've been going out taking pictures in the streets, photographing market traders. He was an Edwardian photographer, Benjamin Stone. These pictures were taken, I think, around before the First World War, 1906, something like that. Charles Parker was in the 1950s and 60s. Henry Mayhew was in the 1850s and 60s. So, you know, I don't think that I'm doing anything that's particularly modern, even though it looks a bit odd. And then one other thing I would say about the sound is that is this idea of the felt life, the idea that people will talk about their felt lives, which is something that it's a phrase I got from Studs Terkel, who's an American who did a lot of oral history. And again, I read his book Working when it was published, I think in probably about 1975, something like that. And he wrote about the tape recorder. He actually, this is from an extract from a radio program where I heard him interviewed. And he's talking about the tape recorder. He says it can be used to evoke the thoughts of people hitherto inarticulate or who are thought to be inarticulate. And I find that, again, the so-called, I emphasize, so-called ordinary people want to talk about their felt lives, their daily lives. It's as though you discover a new land when they talk of it. And the tape recorder captures not only the words, but the sound of the voice too, and the silence sometimes, the silence of a certain moment. A certain moment gives you a tip and is as revelatory as the spoken word. So the tape recorder, it seems, to me, he said, can be used for our mutual enlightenment. And I've always loved that, and I think that's what I've been trying to do, you know, use these tools for our mutual enlightenment. Yes, I think some people looking at the work might say, well, why didn't you use video? And the answer is because the way the work is made is that it seems as though the sound is actuality sound. Like it's all happened in a minute and a half. You know, the film is 23 minutes and 23 seconds long, the movie. And there are 12 principal participants. So, you know, it doesn't take long to work out that each one's a couple of minutes maximum, with little bits in between. These couple of minutes are often edited from nearly an hour of talking to somebody. But because of digital editing, it sounds smooth. It sounds like it's one continuous stream of conversation. Now, had I used video, that wouldn't have been possible. So the way that I've used the stills, which is like a sort of animation, you get quite broken images of people talking and moving, which shows the intervention that I've made. And I've tried to edit in a way that's characterful to the people concerned. Well, working with Multistory has been fantastic because it's been a lifesaver for me apart from anything else. I mean, I thought my career was over because I couldn't see a way of working that was A, funded, and B, where I would be nurtured, and I've taken some nurturing. So it's been fantastic to have that opportunity, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. But also I like the way Multistory functions. I like its engagement with the community. I like the fact that it works with people, that it's not doing media to people, and also you know, you're all nice people.